All right, hey everybody, and welcome to Site Review Tuesday. I'm Robert with Zenfolio Customer Success. I want to say thanks for joining us today on the live stream. Hey, if this is your first time hanging out with us on Site Review Tuesday, make sure you say hi to us and let us know where you're from in the chat. Or if this is your second or third, or if you're one of those people that we are so fortunate to have that come back week after week and hang out with us on the live streams, make sure you say hi and let us know you're hanging out with us there in the chat. Let us know where you're from. Hope that you guys are having a great week. Hope everybody had a good weekend so far. If you are not familiar with how Site Review Tuesday works, I'm going to run through the steps here in just a second. But if you are familiar with how Site Review Tuesday works, go ahead and give me a number in the chat, 1 through 103. So Aloha home phone 222 is not within the number range. Somebody throw a number out there that's 1 through 103, and that's going to determine the first site that we review. Now, if you're new to Site Review Tuesday, this is how it works. We're going to review 3 different websites. My camera's all like off kilter or something. There we go. We're going to review 3 websites. Each website is going to get 15 minutes per review, and then the third site, of course, is going to be coming from you guys there in the live chat audience. So if you have not had a chance to submit your site, or maybe you've submitted it and it hasn't gotten what's the right word? It hasn't been selected for a review yet, make sure that you click that link in the description below the video and you go ahead and submit your site there. That will get it in there. But like I said, go ahead and throw it. And it looks like Ian Oliver's got the first number in there at 75. So we're going to get to that in just a second. Now, hanging out with me, taking care of you guys in chat. I really appreciate her taking time out of her day every Tuesday to come and hang out with us. I've got Katie, so make sure you show her some love there. She does a great job taking care of you guys in chat. I really appreciate her hanging out with us. Okay, before we get started with the review, let's see, we do have some announcements. I think they're kind of the same as last week. The Ultimate Photographer Starter Package Sweepstakes is still going on, you guys. I want to say this every live stream because I really want somebody from Zenfolio Live or from the YouTube community to win this. I would love for that to happen. The link to sign up for that should be in the description below the video. If it's not, I'll make sure to get it in there after the live stream's over. Also, just another hint, I kind of dropped this last week. Gonna drop that hint again this week. BookMe has brand new features that are coming soon. We're going to be talking about that on Zenfolio Live, not this week, but I think maybe next week we're going to be talking about those new, the new addition to and the new enhancements to the BookMe feature. So if you're using BookMe or whether you're not using BookMe, make sure that you join us for that live stream, not this week, but next week. This week on Zenfolio Live, we're going to be talking about how to use Zenfolio as a real estate photographer. So if you do any kind of real estate photography, be a really good live stream to tune in. We're going to talk about different kinds of settings, download settings, all kinds of stuff. We're really going to dig into that. Don't forget, we are doing the group training sessions. You can sign up for those. The link to do that's in the description below. And then we are, of course, encouraging all of you guys to make sure that you continue posting positive things on your social media daily, and make sure that you're using that hashtag Zenfolio Photographers for a chance to be featured on our social media sites. Now, I saw Mr. Ian Oliver throwing out the first number for us. He said number 75. As always, Mr. Ian is quick on the draw. So let's go ahead and grab site 75 and we'll get that review going. So site 75 is going to be, it looks like it is getapic.co.uk. So let me drag this over here, get this set in here, and we will get the time up on the clock. I'll go ahead and put that in there. Let me say hi to some of you guys. Ian Oliver, Roxanne Bay, joining us from Canada. Thanks for coming on, hanging out with us, Roxanne. Love having you join us every week. Also, we've got Kathleen Riley from Minnesota. She's got a snowman up. Hopefully, it's not still snowing in Minnesota. I'm hoping at least not in June. Is it snowing, Kathleen? Is it still snowing up there? I hope not. Hope you guys are getting a little bit more warm. And then M. English, the real Slim Shady. I'm just going to say it every week now because it makes me laugh. I'm assuming it's Michael English, but M. English hanging out with us as well. So thank you guys for joining us. All right, we're going to get 15 minutes up on the clock. We'll get this review started. If you haven't submitted your site, make sure that you do that, and we will get going. Okay, so let me throw this up here. Let's see. The first thing I want to do is just pull this down. We have getapic.co.uk. Up here you can see they do have this custom favicon in here. Now, the information that they have in the head site or the website title here is their web address. And so I'm not sure if you guys caught this on the last Zenfolio Live where we really deep dived and talked about, the SEO things, and I really got into why I talk about this every week, because this really, really matters. It's really helpful for your SEO. This shows up on Google search results. And so you definitely want more than just this. And in fact, I would probably not have my web address as the website title. I would probably have my business name and then talk a little bit about the locations and the type of photography that you do. So your location and type of photography is what you want to have up here. And that's going to be super helpful. Let's go ahead and pull this up. You do have a really cool logo, so let me actually bring this back down. So this is a really cool logo right here. I'm not sure that the red in your logo matches the red in the favicon. A little nitpicky, but you definitely want to make sure that you're establishing some branding recognition, making sure you're using the same kind of colors and that kind of thing. So something to think about up here. Also, you kind of have two different style of cameras. Maybe, again, something to think about similarizing these just a little bit for brand recognition. But that's all I have to say about that. Let's bring this up. Really cool, so super timely COVID-19 announcement right here. So right here in the welcome message is where this out for this layout. This is where they obviously have some kind of a special announcement just to address any kind of COVID-19 concerns. They've made it super accessible. You can just click on it right here, and it looks like it's going to some kind of announcement talking about COVID. So really cool that you have this set up. I love that you are being proactive, addressing it, making it very easy, very clear for people to see. So I'm going to give you some, I'm going to say great job on that. It's a nice setup. Going ahead and being proactive on that. Great job. Also right here in your welcome message, right here on the homepage, you have your location information. You talk a little bit about that you're upbeat and you're family owned. Talk about some of the services that you offer. Now, one of the things that I would consider is, if you'll notice, part of your welcome message right here is actually getting cut off. So right down here, kind of by my mouse, you can see it right here. It's kind of getting cut off a little bit. So you can go back into that welcome message. You can play with the sizing, play with the spacing a little bit. And then also on your layout options, I believe you can adjust the padding and different things like that for your welcome message. So you might want to play around with that just a little bit to make sure that you're able to get all of that text to fit, because this is the only place that that welcome message is going to show. We're not going to be able to read this information in its entirety anywhere else. It's just going to show here. So something to think about. Now, behind me is, let me just kind of hide that really quick. Behind me there is social media icon. So great that you have that there. I think it's really useful. And then you have this really cool slideshow. So far, the images that I've seen, it's really obvious that you do a lot of motorsports, photography, different things like that. So I think that's great. I also see some horses. Let's see what else we see here on the homepage. Really cool images. Looks like travel, a lot of car photography, a lot of vehicle photography and events. So something to think about is maybe putting some of that information. It looks like you do talk a little bit about it down here. Again, some really cool photos, lots of car focus though, so really nice. And that's it for the homepage other than the site menu. So we're going to go up and take a look at the site menu in a second, but that's it. So nice, simple homepage. I think it really gets the job done. It's super simple. Not a lot of things to click around and try to explore and figure out. Lots of good information. So great job on the homepage. Yeah, as everybody's saying in the chat, love the car photos, love the motorcycle photos, like absolutely really, really great photos. So your first menu item here is find your photos. And so let's go take a look at this and see where this takes us. All right, so if we go to find your photos, that is going to look, it looks like it lands us onto a client galleries event group, or like not an event group, but a group where we then have these kind of sub galleries here to click through and navigate in. So one of the things that I would suggest is that you can eliminate that step and you could turn that find your photos into a drop down where then you can have weekend roadside driver photos, motorbike photos, car events as a drop-down menu item, eliminating the step for them to need to click here and then click on another gallery. They can just hover and click and go directly into that. Also, whenever they start diving into galleries, it's going to make the navigation to the other areas much easier for them. So if we just click on weekend roadside galleries, now we're landing on a page where, again, we kind of have to go and find our gallery, which To be honest, this is probably the best way that you could have this set up. You have it, it looks like organized by date. So nice job there, having it organized by date. You also have a gallery caption up here and some information. So I can definitely go through here and look for my particular date, click on that. But then if I'm somebody who attended multiple events and I want to go back and look through a different set of your galleries now, I'm having to click back here and then go and choose another gallery. Now, I could use the breadcrumbs that are up here, but a lot of times people miss that. And so again, just pointing out, you could definitely turn this into a drop down where then I could quickly access these different sections, and kind of eliminating this step is something that I would definitely consider. Now, one of the things that I feel like I'm missing here is a portfolio. So I do see that you have services, photography, and image editing. We're going to get to that in a second. But I'm not really seeing anything to where if I'm a visitor and I'm landing on this site completely unknowing anything about you, maybe I was just doing a search for photographers, I'm not really seeing a place where you're directing me to go to see examples of your work that I can hire you for. And so that might be something to think about. Now, maybe we'll discover that later on as we progress through this site navigation. And if that's the case, I kind of feel like that's a problem if I have to discover that versus you're presenting it to me. What do you guys think in chat, though? Let me know. Should it be more presented that if you're a visitor, you know nothing about this service, nothing about this company, this photographer, should I have to discover the examples of work, or should that be more presented and really plan on the site navigation? That's kind of what I feel. Curious to see what you guys say in chat. But let's keep moving along. So we've kind of explored Find Your Photos. And these are, looks like actual client galleries, not really example galleries, not really set up to be found in kind of searches or things like that. So I'm not really going to explore these too much and critique them. We're going to move on to the rest of the site menu. Okay, so we clicked on the Find Us menu, and this is the Find Us map. So it looks like this is an interactive map where you plan on being, where you're going to, different events you're going to be attending. So this is really cool. This is a really cool custom page. I'm going to say bonus points for that. Nice custom page. Nice getting that integration, getting that third-party integration in there using that custom code. This is really cool. So I can see the different places where you're at. And it says you're currently working on this page. Check back later. Now, I can't really interact with it, but it does look like there are some things here, different points where you're going to be. So one of the things you might think about as well is in this custom page, adding a list of dates and events and addresses and links to the particular event's website or something like that. That kind of stuff is really good for your SEO. If you add those links, contact those event coordinators and say, hey, I have this on my page. You know, when people come to my page and they click on this, they're going to see the different events that we're going to be at. And I've also, as an added bonus, you know, linked to your event website. Do you guys mind putting a link back to my website from yours? Those Google link back and forth like that. Google really, really likes that. They're going to give you points for that. So something to think about. All right, let's progress down the rest of your site menu. Let's take a look at your services. Let's go to photography really quick. And I'm hoping that maybe this is where it's going to take me to kind of discover the services that you offer, see examples of your photography. And so we're landing on services. We see photography here. Looks like you have some good information. So again, this is a really cool custom page that you have set up. Again, I love the use of the custom pages. And you've got these different categories here. So it looks like you talk about the services you offer, and then you have these different categories that you actually photograph. So what I'm hoping is that these little categories are going to take me into a portfolio gallery, so to speak. So let's take a look and see where it goes. And so we kind of have a portfolio. It looks like you started something, you started a custom page. It's not quite finished yet. So I'm going to give you an A for effort, or an E for effort, however you want to say it. I think this is a good start. I'm a little disappointed. I want to see more images. Also, I'd like to see a little bit more information. So what you might think about on this page, if this was me designing this page, where I would take this to make this really simple is I would maybe have 1 or 2 images here talk about this specific service, what you do. You want to maybe go into some detail and say, you know what, if you book us for your motorbike event or show, we're going to show up. We have different options that you can choose from. We're going to show up with professionally trained photographers. We're going to be there for this and this. This is some of the client quotes of people that we've had. So really explain your services and then have it set up to where you can say something like, if you'd like to see more examples of our motorbike show photography, click here. And then when they click here, that simply takes them to a gallery where you have hand selected your best motorbike photos. But when they're going to that gallery, then is a good time that you could hit them with a visitor sign in so that you're collecting information. So you have already kind of given them a sneak peek kind of preview of the type of work that you do, and then you're allowing them to progress, but you're wanting something from them. So as they're moving to see more examples of your work, you're now getting information from them so you can reach back out to them. Maybe you even have a triggered email flow set up to that. So lots of options here. That's where I would take this if this was my side, if this was the services that I was doing. So something to think about there. Let's go ahead and go back to your photography. I'm going to guess that probably the rest of these pages might be the same. Hopefully maybe one of these is finished out and I can actually see kind of the direction you were going. Let's go look at classic cars because I'm kind of a sucker for classic cars. Anybody else on the live stream like classic cars? Let me know in the chat. Let's see. Look at that bus, man. Okay. Yeah, so this is like, it's kind of the same setup. It looks like you guys were going to build some things out and then maybe you ran out of time. Hopefully you ran out of time because you're so busy shooting these events that you have not had time to come back and finish that. I would not put you down at all for that. But again, I would definitely, at some point you want to come back and kind of beef this up a little bit. Let's have this actually give some action. Let's actually have it do something other than just show a few photos. Again, the simplest suggestion I can give you, create a portfolio gallery with the photos of these cars, have that visitor sign in turned on to where when they click to that portfolio or that extended portfolio from here, then you're collecting information. Now, normally I don't recommend using visitor sign in. Put on a portfolio gallery, but in this case where you're kind of providing a preview, then you're allowing them to progress. I think that's probably okay. But very beautiful photos, absolutely gorgeous photos, really cool looking cars. Love, love, love this site. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's go back to your services. Let's check out one more. We got 2 minutes. I'm assuming the rest of these are going to be the same. So I'd say great job setting up this custom page. I just want them to progress and to actually do something a little further than this. I feel like I'm hitting some things that aren't quite finished. But let's check out your image editing really quick. All right, so image editing is under services. And my internet is being a little slow, you guys. Here we go. Let's see. So photographic image services retouching. Let's see what we have here. So we have photo editing and retouching. Let's see what that is. Really quick. Okay, so this kind of shows the original and then the after. I think this is perfectly fine. This is really cool. So again, I'm left wanting some more information. I think that this is a good start. I'm left wanting some more information in here. That's really what I want. But I want to go back because I saw something that I want to look at really quick. Big head helmet edit. This looks pretty awesome. What do you guys think in chat? Look at this. That is pretty outstanding. Like, I would definitely order this. And I didn't see anything on your homepage about this, right? So this is definitely something that I've never come across before. I think it's a really unique, really cool style. I would definitely broadcast this and advertise this a little bit more on your homepage. Talk about it a little bit more. It's really funny. Look at this one right here, you guys. It's just hilarious. It's pretty cool. Okay, let's see. Let me click on contact. Let's check that out really quick. This is a built-in contact. I think it's perfectly fine. So for me, again, I'm going back to a thing that I say for a lot of websites. This is kind of set up to serve clients, which is fine, but you also want to have this set up to service visitors who land on here without knowing anything about you, right? So where am I going as a visitor to learn more about you, to see the good examples of your work? And then what are you guiding me to and leading me to? What are the steps that you want me to take? I didn't see any portfolios where you've really done a lot of SEO work. So I'm assuming that you're not getting a lot of organic search traffic from that. definitely think about that, making some public-facing portfolios, going in there, keywording them, captioning, putting captions in there, and all of that. So something to think about. We got like 5 seconds left, so let me get a number in chat, 200 to 305. So if you guys will throw a number in the chat, 200 to 305, that'll be the next site that we review. So get that number in the chat. And then again, going back to this, just thinking about setting up the portfolio, making it easy to navigate for visitors, maybe turning this into a drop down as well, I think will be really, really helpful. But overall, I think you have a really cool site, a lot of really cool photos. I loved the car photos, and I loved that big head helmet setup. That was pretty awesome. So really, really cool. Okay, Roxanne said 201. So let me go see which website 201 is, and then we will get that going. Let's see here. Let me get that website up. It looks like it is, I can't pronounce that name. Is it brendacohen.zenfolio.com? Now guys, after this review, we're going to do a review from you guys hanging out with us in the live chat. So make sure that you get your site submitted. That link is in the description below. You've got about 15 minutes to get in there before we take our break. And then we do the live audience or live chat audience live site review. Okay, this is Cohen's Clicks Equestrian Photography. I'm going to throw the link out in the chat because the link is actually something different. Let me throw that out there. There's the link. We'll get 15 minutes up on the clock. We'll get this review started, and then I'll get back with you guys, and we'll do the other one. Okay, so just to start out, looks like there's a lot of default things that are set up. So we do have the default Zenfolio favicon up there. Not a big deal breaker. Again, it's just something that gives your site a nice custom look. So as you can see, I have my account pulled up, and I have this one. Both have the Zenfolio logo. You probably would want to get your own favicon up here. And then just moving on down, you are still using the default Zenfolio URL. So it's pretty easy to set up and do a custom domain. You can use a service like GoDaddy, Network Solutions, iwantmyname.com, or any of the other really great services that provide domain names. And then you really just have to modify a couple of settings. And so this is just really helpful because, for one, when you're making business cards or when you're telling people about your business, when you're out at events and somebody's like, oh, you're a photographer, do you have a website? How hard is it for somebody to remember brendacohen.zenfolio.com versus cohensclicks.com or something like that? So just something to think about with that custom URL, that custom domain. What do you guys think in chat? As in today's world, as a business in photography, do you feel like a custom domain is essential? How important do you think it is? I'm really curious to see what your guys' answers are there in the chat, so let me know. Okay, and then just moving down, looks like you're using kind of the default display name. Definitely, again, you want to start establishing some branding, maybe come up with some kind of logo, get it uploaded here. So that you have that set up. And then also we have a couple of different menus going on. So we are seeing the header menu up top, and then this extra menu item right down here is kind of the homepage menu. Now, I have seen some websites where they were very intentional on showing two menus, and they made very cool use of showing the header menu up top with a homepage menu kind of like this, where they had homepage menu items that they just wanted showing on there. But most of the time it just causes some confusion. Now, if you do it right, you can do it and set it up, and it's really cool. It's really cool how it functions. But done wrong, most of the time, which is usually done wrong, it's pretty hard to get it right. It does cause some confusion. So something to think about here. Now let's see, what information do you have up here in your site title? That's super important. So again, right here, you just kind of have your studio name. This is where you want to put location, the type of photography you do, which you do have equestrian photography, but where? Where do you do equestrian photography? Is there a specific state, a specific region that you kind of operate out of? That's some information that you want to include in there. Okay. So let's go down and let's just kind of take a look at this. Hi and welcome. I believe that every moment is unique to be treasured. I love to freeze all types of moments, but focus on the equine photography. I'm available for events, sports, engagements, announcements, portraits, and remembrance photos with your equine partner and friend. I live in Gullid, Colorado, Texas, and available for the surrounding areas. Thank you for visiting my site. So not a bad start to a welcome message. Let's think about this for a second. Yes, the welcome message is there to greet people, but this again is really, really good SEO stuff that you want to include here, right? You want to write it as a way to welcome people to your site, but you also want to write it as, okay, what kind of things are my ideal client going to be searching for when they're looking for a photographer, and how can I word that and include that in my welcome message, right? So saying things like, I'm available for events, sports, maybe you might want to reword this a little bit and say something like, I'm located in, I think it's Goliad County, Texas. I'm a photographer. I specialize in event photography, sports photography, engagement photography, equine photography, or equine photo shoots, or things like that. So saying those kinds of things in that welcome message, or some of the types of photography I specialize in, some of the types of sessions that I offer, different things like that. So just thinking about a way that you can word it to where, what are your ideal clients going to be searching for? What would they be searching for? And you want to kind of include that in there. Some really cool photos though. I love seeing a lot of the horses, as Roxanne said, or not Roxanne, as Lynn said, cool, more horsepower. So yeah, absolutely some more horses. Let's go ahead and take a look. Now, one of the things, again, to the homepage slideshow, while it's really nicely done, it is a little small. I want to kind of be wowed by the images on your website. So when you think about your homepage images, this is your elevator pitch, right? If you're in an elevator and you have 10 seconds to convince somebody to pay more attention to you and to possibly consider hiring you for something, that's what your homepage images are. These images are your chance to get that website visitor to explore your site further, to learn more about you, and to hopefully end up either clicking that book a session button or getting in contact with you, whatever you want. So, and again, as HomePhone's saying there, do you really specialize if you list 5 or 6 different genres? That is a very good point that he's bringing up as well, is really talk about what you specialize in, and then maybe if you specialize in one, and then mention that you do offer other sessions. So just thinking about that in the way you're wording it. So back to the homepage images. Would love to see these a little bit larger. Would love to be wowed. Maybe go through, I'm seeing a lot of images, maybe go through and make sure that you're picking the images that is really going to have the effect that you want, which is, wow, this photographer has some nice photos. They do the type of photography that I want. I want to learn more about them. That's what you want these images to do and to say to your website visitors here. Okay, now let's follow the path that you have laid out for us. You have barrel race albums, royalty-free stock photos, equine portraits, and then about. So we're going to try to get to some of these. Looks like the barrel race albums is where you've gone to particular events and photograph those events. So that's really cool. I like that you have this set up in this drop down. Now, the gallery is public, okay? So here's what I want you to think about. While these photos are from specific events and this gallery is public, there's no reason why you couldn't add some information in here, right? So you could write a quick caption in this gallery, a fun barrel racing photo session or event that I photographed in Edna, Oklahoma, or Edna, Texas, or wherever this was. And then just mention a few of those things, because that text that you can put in the caption up here can help with your search results, can help this page surface a little bit more. And when this page surfaces a little bit more, now they're on your website and hopefully they explore further. So any kind of public facing album that doesn't require a password protection or anything like that, I would go ahead and keyword it, put captions and all that good stuff to help drive traffic to your site. Now let's scroll down. So it looks like there's going to be a lot of photos. Again, this is kind of an event gallery where there are photos taken at a particular event. So I'm not going to scroll down. It does look like there's a lot of photos. Let's take a look really quick right here and see how this is set up. So great job having it set up with the buying experience. So I clicked on a photo right away. I'm seeing the quick shop over here with the buying experience. This looks really well set up, really intentional. I'm not being overwhelmed with a ton of products. And so I'm going to say great job there setting that up. This looks really nicely done. Let's go back and let's just progress a little bit further. Let's go take a look at another album down here. And again, so kind of the same feedback that I've had before. This website, for me, looks like it's really set up. It's really set up for servicing existing clients or existing events that you've taken, right? And so I would always encourage all of us to take a step back, all right, and think about if somebody lands on my site. First of all, who do I want to land on my site that's not already an active client? How do I want them to land on there? And then what experiences do I want them to have? If I am just doing a search for equestrian photographers and I happen to land on your site, have you developed your site in a way that's going to tell me what to do, that's going to take me down the path that you want me to take, which is to learn about you as a photographer and hopefully hire you? Have you made it easy? That's the kind of stuff that you want to be doing with your site. Because right now, I'm seeing that you do a lot of barrel races. I'm not really seeing any example photos where I can go to see your best. This just looks like it's the entire event. If I was going to just quickly want to see what kind of photographer you are, see your skill level, where am I going as a visitor? Where are you telling me to go as a visitor to see the best examples of your work? So that's something that you want to be thinking about when you're setting up your site. Visitors who are not clients who land on your site, what are you telling them to do? Are you telling them to do anything? Hopefully you are. Okay, so we're going to keep moving. Let's go to your royalty-free stock. I will say, great job getting the drop-down menu set up. Super helpful, makes it super easy to navigate through. Now, this looks like it's a royalty-free stock photo gallery where you've got some images for sale. So if that's the case, we definitely want visitors landing on this, right? We want this to be really searchable. So you need to go in, do image titles, image captions, gallery titles, gallery captions, keywords, all of that stuff that I talked about last week on Zenfolio Live. So if you missed it last week, go back in the Zenfolio Live archive. It should be linked in the description below this, and you're going to look up 5 things. There's a video, a live stream that's called 5 things that you can do to increase the traffic to your website. That is what you want to go watch because you really need to do some SEO work in this royalty-free stock gallery so you're getting more traffic and people coming in here and buying your photos. Okay, so we're going to scroll down and just take a quick look. And so again, all I'm seeing are images. There's no categories and keywords. There's no caption. The gallery title just says Horses at Liberty. So all of that stuff matters. Let's go ahead and click on a photo, and at least you do have it set up to be a digital download web use. So you have the price set up here. And you do have some information here. We just need to see more information. So again, I would recommend going back and making sure that you get that live stream where I talked about setting all that stuff up. So let's do equine portraits. And it looks like this is more to come. So let's take a look. All right, so it looks like this is an example. So what I would do is if you don't quite have that portfolio built up yet, what I would do is I would get, because I did see a couple of these images that you have. And so what I would do is maybe build a custom page, show a few of those images, and then on that custom page, talk a little bit more about this particular service. What does that portion session come with? Do you offer different packages, different options, and things like that? Now, if this is just, if you're setting this up for clients to go in and access their portrait session, I would probably think about that just a little bit. For me, I usually like to do the direct email for client galleries. I don't really want to put client galleries on the front side of my website. For one, visitors get confused when they get access to client galleries and they're kind of left wondering like, oh, am I really supposed to be seeing this? Is this something that I should go look at? If I am hire this photographer, are they just going to put my client gallery up there for anybody to go navigate through? So those are some questions that maybe would come up with this. So something to think about there. All right, let's go ahead. Let's check out your about page really quick. And yes, as everybody is saying in chat, some absolutely beautiful photos. I love the horse photos. And you do have a really nice about photo. I mean, this is a great photo showing you here with the horses in what you're advertising across the whole website that you do and specialize in is equestrian photography. Thank you for visiting my site. I'll watch these. Okay. And then it says, please feel free to contact me with any questions. Let's put a call to action in here. So you can actually customize that to be a link to click on, Also, I did notice that you have a book a session button on the front of your site. You can also set that to show here as well. So you could mention in there, thank you for visiting. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to email me, make a hot link to your email, and then say, or if you're interested in booking a session, just go ahead and click the book a session button in the bottom right corner of your screen. And you can actually turn it on here because the book a session button is on the homepage here. And this is really nice. It really calls attention here with the green. It's a little hard to read right here, so maybe think about the contrast of that. But I just want to see what you have. So you have events, event corporate, or you have portraits. And so here's kind of information about your portraits. So I think I'm going to give you some bonus points for getting that book a session button on there. I'd love to see it on more pages, especially in the events. Like all of those galleries, you can definitely make sure that you have that set up. So those galleries where people are coming in from different events. Let's say that you have a barrel rider that you at their event, they're coming in and they're looking and they ignored this website. They just followed instructions. They went here and they went to this. All right. You could have that book a session button turn on in here. So as they're looking through their photos and like, oh, okay, I really love the photos. I wonder what other services this photographer offers. Book a session is floating right here where they could click on that. That would then take them to the Book Me widget and they could go ahead and book that session with you, whether they have an event coming up, maybe it's an event coordinator, maybe it's another writer, but they're already in this gallery. They're already interested in your photography. Why not go ahead and present that book a session button in the gallery while they're there as well, just to further leverage it. Overall, though, I think you've got a pretty good start. I do want to see a lot more SEO information. I know that Katie threw that link out in the chat. I would definitely recommend hitting that up. And then again, really going back, thinking about it from a visitor's perspective. If I'm a visitor that knows nothing about you or your photography, where are you telling me to go and what are you telling me to do to learn more and to progress through the cycle that you want me to follow as a visitor? So really great information. All right, you guys, I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to let Katie say a few things and then we're going to come back and do a review of one of the sites from you guys there hanging out in the live chat. So I'm going to take a quick break and I'll be right back.
Hello, Zen friends. Katie here from Zenfolio's customer support team. Thank you for joining us for Site Review Tuesday. If you are here for our live broadcast, you may already see me right over here in YouTube chat, ready to help with any questions you may have. For those of you watching the recorded version of our broadcast, you can submit any questions that you might have in the link below in the video description. You can also submit your own site for our review in the links below. Also, if you love us as much as we love you, please be sure to click the like button on this video and subscribe to our channel for lots of great info on managing your Zenfolio account and customizing your site. We're so grateful to have these pre-submitted user sites. Now let's take one of your live submissions. Y'all are awesome. Thank you for watching.
All right. Thank you, Katie. You guys, again, give it up for Katie. She does an awesome job. She takes such good care of you guys there in the chat. Like, I don't know what I would do on a Tuesday if I didn't have Katie having my back, helping me answer questions. And a lot of times you guys don't see it, but she's actually over in our little sidebar chat that we have going on, correcting my pronunciation. And I really appreciate that because I'm from Oklahoma. Sometimes we pronounce things wrong. I definitely have a hard time sometimes reading people's names. And she's always like, no, Robert, it's pronounced like this. And she takes her time to actually spell out the pronunciations and save me a little bit of embarrassment. So I really appreciate that. All right. So the random site that was selected from you guys today in the live chat was a Mr. Mike English photography. So we're going to get that pulled over really quick and grab this up and look at, wow, look at that, you guys. That is a gorgeous photo right out the gate. So I'm pretty excited about what we can see through this website and see some really cool images. So let's go ahead and get 15 minutes up on the clock. I'll toss this link out to you guys in the chat and we'll get started with that. All right, here is that link right here. So let me just pull this site down and show you guys up here. Mr. Mike's got the zebra on the homepage here, which is really cool. But then if you'll notice, he's done a really great job at creating a really cool favicon. So I know a lot of times as photographers, we like to use the camera symbol. We like to use the aperture symbol. I've seen a couple of other things, but Mike, I think this is the first time I've seen a zebra as the favicon, but I love that it goes along with your homepage, and then it also goes along with your really like squiggly like style of your logo over on the right. So this is really, really cool. And as everybody's saying in the chat, like this homepage image has a huge impact. I think this is a great use of negative space. The high key kind of setup of this, really, really beautiful photo. And I love the simplicity that you have going on here on your homepage, right? So we've got one image. We have your logo over here. We have portfolio, about, and contact, and that's pretty much it. Now, the downside to that is that there's not a lot of information for SEO. So I'm hoping that you did spend a little bit of time with your site title. So let's take a look and see. So it looks like you did right here. You have some information in here. And then hopefully you've taken a little bit of time with that website description as well. All right, so let's go ahead and follow the path that Mike has set up for us here on his website. So we're just going to go to portfolio, and we're going to hover over that. And we're going to click on, let's just click on portfolio and see where that one goes. And so this looks like it's just kind of a portfolio of your images that you've put together, right? So maybe like an overall portfolio, but then it looks like there were other specific portfolios in here as well, like wildlife, landscape, and travel. So we'll start from here. We'll follow this site menu down. I don't think that I have to say it, but I'm going to say some beautiful photos, really nicely done. Now, when we get here, we're kind of looking at public gallery. I understand why, as a photographer, we would want to title that our gallery that, because, hey, we want to know that's a gallery that's public and it's going to be seen. However, for SEO purposes, these are things that you want to think about. Public gallery, maybe thinking about saying something like wildlife and landscape photography portfolio. Or not even portfolio, wildlife and landscape photographer images, photography, maybe specific locations, different things like that. So some information that you can add in that title, obviously adding information to the caption as well, helping this site, this page perform better on search results. So something I usually almost always talk about. Now, if we scroll down, we have some really cool photos. Some of the things that you might think about is the social media right here. You do have the share button up here, so you can turn these off, and then that will get rid of that kind of gray hover there. Now, one of the things that I'm noticing is that the buy button is not showing on hover. And then we also kind of have the green buy button where we go here. So you might want to think about the shopping setup you have a little bit. So just to kind of show you as a visitor, if I click on a photo, I like this view, but then I also have to click buy and go in here. I'm taken away from the gallery, and now I'm kind of viewing these different sections. And then now I'm clicking on something, adding it to the cart. And so just thinking about how many clicks that took me as a visitor to add something into my cart if I wanted to buy one of these images, versus how it would be if you had the quick shop set up so that I never had to leave this area and I could just see the photo, make my selection here, and it would go right into the cart. So something about that something about setting that up, making that quick shop would make this buying experience a little bit more streamlined for your visitors. Just going down to the bottom really quickly, let's take a look. Man, some really cool photos. Maybe I should slow down a little bit. What do you guys think? Let's just browse some of the photos really quick. Just look at these photos, really cool. Just absolutely gorgeous photos. But let's go to the bottom. And so again, down here at the bottom, no categories and keywords. So not a lot of information for search engines to really index this, to understand what this page is about, what information's on your site. And therefore, it really doesn't know how to recommend this, right? So when you think about SEO and search engine optimization, really what you want to think about is how can I provide as much relevant information to search engines to let them know what my site is about, what this page is about, so that they know how to recommend it to people who are doing searches. That's the information that you want in there. All right, let's just go back up to the top. Let's keep following the site menu item. Let's take a look. Okay. And then so again, we have some more photos here. Now, these are some beautiful photos. So one of the things that I am, as a visitor, a little confused by is, what is the difference between portfolio and then all of these? Is your portfolio where you have hand selected your favorite photos out of these different genres of photography and put them there? If so, for this, because it doesn't look like you're doing photography for hire. It looks like this is, you're doing landscapes, wildlife. I don't see that it doesn't look, at least to me, it doesn't come across like you're doing photography for hire. And so what you might think about is that first one maybe being something like featured images, photographer favorites, or something like that, rather than portfolio, if that's the case. So let's go down to landscape. And then again, just thinking about how you're titling these, thinking about descriptions, captions, categories, and keywords. But overall, I think this is just they're absolutely beautiful photos. Some really cool stuff in here. Let's take a look. Okay, so nicely done. All right, so I am seeing everything is really consistent. So we're not going to a different page and feeling like we've left the website or gone to a different website or anything like that. Everything is super consistent. Your site navigation is really easy. This is all staying consistent. I just don't have a lot of information to go off of here for this. And so going back to thinking about the purpose of your site, right? Right now, for me, what's coming across is that you're a photographer, that you're going to use this site to show your work and to sell your work as prints, as wall arts, as download, and things like that. And so we need to get some of that information in text form to let search engines know that's what your site is about. So just talking about travel photography, art, landscape, canvas print art, different things like that, different words that you can use in descriptions and captions and things like that. And then definitely when you do travel, making sure that you have specific location information in the photo. So if somebody's looking for a particular photo from a specific country or something like that, you have that information in your photo so that it's showing up in search results. So let's keep going. I do love the fact that you have the watermark here. So if we just click on this really quick, one of the things I would always recommend is when you have your watermark set up in here, if you're worried about people screenshotting it, maybe add in your web address so that if somebody does screenshot it, because we do see it on Facebook all the time, right? How many times have you guys seen, just throw a 1 in the chat if you guys have seen this on Facebook. Somebody, and they obviously screenshot somebody's image. It has a big copyright, do not share watermark on the image, and they've thrown it up on Facebook anyway. Throw 1 in the chat if you guys have seen that. It's going to happen. There's not a way to stop it, unfortunately. It's sad that it's necessary, but if you look at it from a different perspective, if you look at it as okay, how can I benefit? How can I turn that situation around and make it something that I could benefit from? If you put your web address in there, now you're getting free advertisement. Right? And I get that that's a positive spin on it, but it's definitely something that's going to happen in a way that you can think about it in a different sense and maybe put your web address in your watermark. All right, so something to think about there. Some really beautiful images though, just absolutely beautiful, beautiful photos. Let's keep moving on. Let's go down to Africa. All right. So Africa, we've got some images here, lots of different photos. Here's that really amazing zebra shot again. That was just absolutely beautiful. All right, and so I think I'm going to have a lot of the same consistent feedback throughout these different galleries. Absolutely gorgeous images. I'm not getting any text information to really go to really gauge if you're getting any traffic for this, because there's just not a lot of information for search engines. And so I love your site. You have beautiful photography. As a visitor, I'm okay, I'm a little unclear of what the intention is of this website other than sharing your work, which if that's the only intention, it's coming across very fine. it's a little obvious as somebody who knows Zenfolio that you're here to sell your work because you have the buy button up here, but I'm not getting any of that information up here. I'm just seeing portfolio and then the different types. So maybe galleries instead of portfolio. Maybe talk a little bit about the purchase options that you have. If you're selling this as stock photo, as you're selling, or are you selling this as, wall art, different things like that. Definitely things that you want to mention just to help people land on your page that are looking for that kind of stuff. So here we are in Idaho. Let's take a look here. Oh, wow. Look at that owl shot. That is a beautiful photo right there. My wife loves owls. Our whole kitchen has all kinds of owls all over the place. And so anytime I see owl photos, I always take a look at them. Beautiful owl photos. All right, let's keep moving along. We did Idaho. Let's do Utah. Oh, wow. Looky there. That is just absolutely gorgeous. I'll tell you this, one thing your site is really doing is making me want to get out and be adventurous and travel, which right now is kind of a hard time to do that. Very beautiful work, definitely making me want to get out and explore. So very inspirational work for sure. Absolutely beautiful work. Just really cool. All right, let's go to Washington. And look at that one. That is just the killer capture right there. That's just beautiful. Look at that. Man, that is amazing. Amazing. Beautiful, beautiful photos. Okay, so we've looked at all your portfolios. Let's take a look at your About page really quick. Let's see how that's set up. Let's go to About. And so we have this image here. I would definitely recommend putting your photo in here. Now, as a landscape wildlife photographer, something that I think works really well is kind of a behind the scenes photo. Like a lot of times, honestly, the reason I became a photographer, one of the biggest reasons is I hated having my photo taken. So I'm always on the other side of the camera, so I don't have to have my image taken. And, a great photo for if you're that kind of photographer where you're like, man, I love taking photos. I love taking photos of other people. Absolutely cannot stand being in front of the camera. A great photo for that is just you, like a behind the scenes photo. I'd love to see you out like on a landscape or something like that. I think that it is important. And then just more information in here, right? It does say prints and canvases available. You could say something like, this website is a collection of my wildlife photos that I've taken over the past 7 years that I've been making available as wall art or made to order wall art, including metal prints, digital downloads, and things like that. So, lots of things to think about and that kind of information to put in here. Another thing as well, right? Your photos are really inspirational. You have some beautiful images. Maybe talk about some of your favorite locations that you photographed. Maybe use this as a place where if other photographers have come across your site, providing some value back to them of, some of my favorite places to photograph are this, and this, and this, and here's a really good place to get this image, different things like that. So you're just kind of including some extra information. It's really about adding more text to make this stuff searchable. So definitely something that you want to put there. Let's see, I got like a minute left. Let's hit up your contact page. This is your built-in contact page. Perfectly fine to use that. Super easy, super simple, nice, and already done and set up for you. So the last thing, a couple of things I'm going to check really quick before I run out of time is you have your social media link. So one of the things I always like to check is just to give my social media a reality check. Make sure it is linking to the right places, which this looks like it goes directly to your Instagram feed. So nice job there. And then let's go back really quick and do a quick check on that Facebook and make sure that that is also going to your Facebook, which it looks like it is. So perfect. Great job having that set up. A lot of times people do rebranding or they put in the wrong link accidentally or they misspell something when they're putting this information in and they have a Facebook button up there that's been up there since they created their site that doesn't work and just goes to a broken thing. So I always like to check that. Overall, Mike, again, as I think you can tell in chat, we all think that you have some really, really beautiful images. My biggest thing, definitely the thing that I would go back and seriously think about is starting out with is your SEO, making sure that you're doing gallery titles. That whole live stream that I did last week, that would be my feedback for you. Let's go back and look at gallery titles, captions, image titles, image captions, keywords, categories, and all of that good stuff. But thank you so much for submitting that site. Again, some absolutely beautiful work. We saw some really cool sites today, a lot of different kinds of work. So thank you to everybody who's been submitting their site. And if I didn't pick your site today, you can always come back next Tuesday, and we do this same thing every single Tuesday. Let's go back and say hi to some of you guys in chat really quick. I've got a few more minutes left. So let's see. Back to the watermark question. It looks like a lot of you guys are saying that you are seeing the watermark photos on Facebook. Shark says that his watermark says stolen from web address. That's kind of funny. I've definitely seen a couple of those. I actually saw somebody share a school photo, and on that school photo, the watermark said, "I am a thief and I stole this photo from the photographer whom I did not value," or something really crazy like that. So I don't know if I would go that far. I've definitely seen some stuff like that out there. I've definitely seen photographers, and I get it, right? I get that as photographers, we put all this time and effort into this, and then just to have somebody go to our website, literally hold two buttons, screenshot it, and share it out on Facebook. There's nothing that we can do other than that watermark. And if we can turn it around and say, you know what? They're going to do it regardless. If they don't care that it says I'm a thief on it and they're still screenshotting it, it's going to happen regardless. At least I could go ahead and get some advertisement out of it, so that when people are sharing these amazing photos that I've taken out on Facebook, they are actually advertising my business for me. And if you think about that, that's usually something that we have to pay for. And so maybe you can have some peace in your mind about it as that being a fair trade. I don't know. I just like to try to take things and kind of provide a positive spin on that. So definitely something to think about. Okay, guys, like 3 minutes left. I'm not going to sit here and just chatter on. I do want to say thank you guys so much to all of you who hung out with me today. Ian Oliver, M. English, Lynn, Roxanne Bay, let's see, CEC St. George, Kathleen Riley, Sharks 408. Who else do we have on here? I think I saw Cheryl. And I'm going to mess up your last name, so I'm not going to try to pronounce it. Home Phone, as always, hanging out with me. Let's see who else we got here. Earl jumping on, and 410 Aerial Photography. And anybody else that I missed your name, if I missed your name, it was definitely not intentional. It's because there's a lot of stuff going on in the chat. It's a lot of stuff to scroll through. So thank you guys again for hanging out with me. I hope that you guys enjoy these reviews. Do you guys like the site reviews? I quite like doing this because I really like seeing all the different things that you guys do with Zenfolio. That's one of my favorite things about Site Review Tuesday, is that I know that I'm going to get to see really unique websites where people have taken the features that Zenfolio offers, the tools that we give you. You've taken those features and those tools and really manipulated it to modify it and fit your business and come up with something that works for you. And that's what I love about the Site Review Tuesday, is just seeing all the creative ways that you guys have figured out how to use Zenfolio for your business online. And so just some really cool websites. I learn a lot of stuff from this. I see a lot of interesting creative ideas, and that's why I love Site Review Tuesday. All right, don't forget, you guys, we have Zenfolio Live coming up this Thursday, where we're talking about how to use Zenfolio as a real estate photographer. Now, if you're not a real estate photographer, that doesn't mean that you should just avoid this live stream, because as we do every Thursday, after I finish teaching, we're going to open up the Q&A, be answering questions directly. And so bring your questions. If you're not a real estate photographer, bring your questions. If you are a real estate photographer, definitely bring your questions as well. Love to see you guys. It's going to happen the same time, same place, right here on YouTube on our channel. That's at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern time. Until then, make sure that you guys have a great week, that you are intentional with your time this week, and that you spend some time doing things that you love to do, that bring you joy, bring you happiness, bring you peace, and that you make sure that you are owning at least a little bit of your time, and that you're using some of that time for good, whether it's to encourage other people or to lift other people up, or just to do things to make you a better person as well. I hope that you guys have a wonderful week, and I'll see you all on Thursday.